Firstly, is it clear what's happening in the script?
Yeah.
What do you think happened in the script?
Well, at first, I'm assuming that they're planning to have a meal, and I don't know if she's obviously a daughter of the girl Chloe to one of them, and she's just causing issues for them.
Firstly, is it clear what's happening in the script?
Yep.
What do you think's been going on?
Two people are on some kind of romantic getaway, and one of them's got a few anger issues or some kind of issues, and they have either a daughter or someone they're looking after. She's being very disobedient, and he ends up murdering her.
Firstly, is it clear what's happening in the script?
Yeah, it's very clear. I can see that the character Adam's very violent and very short-tempered, very switchy, and you can tell that Chloe's just a rebellious child and Harley's a loving mother and wife, but also she's very intimidated and scared.
Is it clear what's happening in the script?
Yes, it is.
Huh?
What happened at the beginning?
Well, the couple, likely Adam and Harley, are preparing for a kind of anniversary celebration, perhaps. We see a wedding ring, so I assume that's what they're doing. Is that what?
Yes. What do you think's been going on throughout the story?
Throughout the story? Well, they've been trying to have a nice, peaceful, quiet night in. Well, Chloe's being selfish and watching television loudly.
Okay. Do you think the dialogue fits the situation?
Yeah.
Can you give an example of where you particularly found it appropriate?
The bit where it says, "Will you shut the fucking racket up?" Because as it's louder, he's getting more annoyed, and it shows that he's angry at her.
So you found the dialogue realistic?
Yeah.
Does the dialogue fit the situation?
Yeah.
Did you find the dialogue realistic?
Yeah.
Can you give an example of where you found it?
When Adam says, "Will you shut that fucking racket up?"
Does the dialogue fit the situation?
Yeah, it does. There's only 2 lines of dialogue, and I think it fits really nice because of there's a lot of action and all the tension. The silence makes it and more intimidating atmosphere, more nervous, and you don't know what's going to happen, what he's going to do.
Does the dialogue fit the situation?
Well, there wasn't much dialogue, but when you shut that effing racket off, rather angry and brutal, so yeah. Make me, yeah, same. Although I think that to get to the part where he's stabbing her 3 times, she might just need to say something a bit more than make me, if you get what I mean.
So I guess that answers, did you find the dialogue realistic? Okay.
More emphasis on more emphasis on Chloe's volatile nature rather than just saying.
Do you feel that there was an effective balance of intrigue and explanation in the beginning of the story?
Yeah.
Where did you become intrigued with the script?
At the bit where is it? I think when she slams the door. Where is it? When Chloe ignores Adam.
And where did you feel it explained things well?
I think it explains stuff well when he fell to the ground and the way Harley went over to him, and at the end when he went into the room.
So do you think the balance was right between the 2?
Yeah.
Where did you become intrigued with the script?
when you could see that Adam was getting really annoyed.
Where did you feel it explained things well?
I feel like it was explained well throughout. You didn't really know what Adam was going to do, but you always understood what was going on. So.
Do you think the balance was right between intrigue and explanation?
Yeah.
Where did you become intrigued with the script?
I became intrigued when Adam got more and more violent because of like it's all nice at first and it's just like a normal home, and then when he starts getting violent, you can see that something's going on in the household and it's not a normal life.
Where did you feel it explained things well?
It explains a lot of stuff in, I think, Harley's character. Like, Adam's the violent one and she's got the rebellious child, but Harley can see that she doesn't know what to do, that she's just weak as he throws her about quite a lot, and that I think her character is very important for the script. Even though she's not the main one, it just shows a lot.
And do you think the balance was right between intrigue and explanation?
Yeah, I do. I think it really did interest me because I was so focused on what's he going to do next, but I also think it explained itself well through like the action.
Do you feel that there was an effective balance of intrigue and explanation in the beginning of the story? Or do you not understand?
Intrigue.
As in, where did you become intrigued with the script?
I suppose probably when he says, "Will you shut the effing racket up?" Because it's kind of evocative, you know. It's rather violent and forthright. I mean, the original thing which you kind of created in the first bit is quite conventional. I'm not saying it's bad or good, I'm just saying it's there's a something people have seen before. So I tend not to get engaged in things like that, more the high dramatic events, and I guess you're engaged throughout, especially when he picks up a meat cleaver, which is a bit horrific, yes.
Okay. Where did you feel it explained things well?
What there was to be explained, because there wasn't some great mystery. So I guess the first bit, because the beginning was establishing the scene, and after that, I could say, could you repeat the question, please?
Where did you feel it explained things well?
Yeah, that, and there wasn't much to be explained rather than kind of unravel.
Okay. And do you think that the balance was right between intrigue and explanation?
Slightly. I think perhaps there could have been more kind of mystery that was going on, and yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Did you understand the problem?
Was it violent?
Could you, in your own words, say what the main problem was?
Violence?
Is that the most important problem, do you think?
Towards the end it is, but there's a problem with like the girl, Chloe, but I don't know really how to say what that is. Like she's just causing problems, so I don't know,
What issues do you think are being explored around that violence?
Weak relationships.
Did you understand the problem?
Yeah.
Could you, in your own words, say what the main problem was?
Main problem, overall I'd probably say is Adam's mental problems.
What issues do you think are being explored around this?
Mental disorder or anger problems.
Did you understand the problem?
Yeah, I understand the problem that, yeah, obviously, like I said, Adam's a violent, like, father, very short-tempered, and violence in the household.
And what issues do you think are being explored around this?
Broken homes, like violence, abuse, yeah, domestic violence, yeah, that's really, it's mainly quite focused on that.
Did you understand the problem?
Yes.
Could you, in your own words, say what the main problem is?
Well, the character Chloe, I guess, which is the prevention between the two other characters from having their kind of romantic foray.
Is that the most important problem, do you think?
Well, I personally think Adam's got more of an important problem, which is revealed through his tendency to stab. Let's go.
What issues do you think are being explored around this?
Flat from him, working class England, violence in the working class, the lack of privacy, which working class environments or small work environments cause, which I think effectively, I think the original setup did better because it was much more of a confined place rather than flats which generally have upstairs and downstairs or whatever. So the TV would have to be on incredibly loud.
Going back to dialogue, do you think there is an effective balance of dialogue and action?
Yeah, because although like the dialogue's like towards the end, there's only like how many lines? 2 lines. Like you've got the way they act to yeah, like.
So do you think there needs to be more dialogue?
Maybe Adam could reply when she says "make me," but I think even at the beginning it's like it worked without dialogue.
Going back to dialogue, do you think there is an effective balance of dialogue and action?
Yeah, I feel like there's not very much dialogue, but I feel like it would work with very little dialogue. I feel like too much would ruin it.
Going back to dialogue, do you think there is an effective balance of dialogue and action?
Yeah, I do. I think, like I said before, the action's very powerful, and I think the dialogue doesn't actually have to be any, like you've only done 2 lines. It's just perfect because if it's really like, it just equals out for what the situation was. Where if it was a different situation, more dialogue would be needed. But because of it's such a tense situation and a very hard one to show, no dialogue had to be like used.
Going back to dialogue, do you think there is an effective balance of dialogue?
What do you mean by balance?
Do you think there is enough dialogue to action?
As I said, I think there should be more than you've got. I think it's good that you've managed to cut down a lot of the dialogue, but I think, especially when Chloe says "make me," I think for him to escalate in terms of anger from just saying, "Will you shut that effing racket up?" to stabbing her 3 times, it would have to be a bit more progressive, this dialogue. So instead of "make me," toss it or whatever for some kind of insult, I think that would improve the dialogue, or improve the balance of dialogue in action.
Do you think the stakes are high enough?
Yeah.
And what are the stakes?
The stakes where he sits at the mill, like when they're sitting at the mill, and like he has to, like he either goes storming in there, but then it's gonna like affect the two like girls and the woman either way.
Do you think the stakes are high enough?
Yeah, because like risk of killing someone, you could see that he's angry. So
Do you think the stakes are high enough?
Yeah, I do think they are, because obviously they're obviously so intimidated they can't actually say anything. So because they're living in this like bubble and they're afraid, they anything could happen. Like at the end, he attacks her and stabs her, and that's a massive stake. Like if they could have said something earlier, they would have been fine. They could have got away. And the thing is, what about Harley? What's going to happen to Harley after?
Do you think the stakes are high enough?
Well, the stake, yeah. I think it might be good to accentuate the kind of what it means to the protagonist, what this day means, and I'm not sure how you can communicate that, but if you can stress that this is a very important day, one which not only comes around every year, but comes around more than, I don't know, it comes around rarer. So that way he can't afford to have it ruined. And I'm not sure. Yeah.
And what do you think the overall meaning of the story was?
The violence of the mob, I don't know.
So, did you get confused anywhere in the script?
No, not really.
What do you think the overall meaning of the story was?
I don't really know.
So, did you get confused anywhere in the script?
No, I don't feel like I was confused.
What do you think the overall meaning of the story was?
The overall meaning's really like about just home life really, and how everyone's just not the same, and about obviously the character Adam, how violent he is, and obviously that they could have said something earlier. They could have saved Chloe, because I don't know if she passes away or she's just serious injuries, but if she passes away, it shows that they should have done something earlier. This happens all the time and no one notices.
What do you think the overall meaning of the story was?
Meaning. Noise pollution causes stabbing.
Do you feel that the script shows a situation that could happen in real life?
It shows something that could happen in real life, because like violence does go on, like stabbing and stuff. But I don't know if stabbing does happen, but I don't know if it would happen just because someone's music was up too loud or.
Do you feel that this script shows a situation that could happen in real life?
Yeah, if Adam had some serious mental deformities, then yeah, it could happen.
Can you relate it to any of your real life experiences?
Yeah, I guess you can relate it to parents getting annoyed at children. Just in a more extreme way.
Do you feel that this script shows a situation that could happen in real life?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, a lot of people are so afraid they don't come out, so it could be happening to anyone, and no one would even know. So I think it's a really good situation to choose.
Can you relate it in any way to your real life experience?
No, I haven't. Obviously, I've had arguments with mum and dad and stuff, but never been stabbed. And yeah, but no, I can understand how it could get that far, but it's relatable, but not that relatable.
Do you feel that this script shows a situation that could happen in real life?
To an extent. I think, once again, Chloe would have to do a lot more to get stabbed. Unless you raise the stakes. And then, or she was particularly awful, like, maybe she comes out and throws something at them or something, or turns it up more to aggravate him. I mean, that wouldn't personally, I don't think turning up more to aggravate him would be enough, but it would contribute to the overall healing and his. Careful.
Can you relate it to your real life experiences in any way?
I'm afraid my neighbours are really, really annoying because they have about 12 dogs, and that can be annoying. And I had a baby once, and I thought I was going to kill myself, but that was about it.
Would you like to direct?
Yeah,
For what reason?
because it's kind of like, it's interesting.
Would you like to direct it?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting story. I think it's clever.
Would you like to direct it?
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to direct because of it's very tense. It's like the action, the shots what would be used. I think quite a lot of like very fast, close-ups, very tense, just keeping the pace going, building up and making you on the edge of your seat. I think it'd be really good to portray that, like, and be able to direct that. I think it'd be really good.
Would you like to direct it?
Would I like to direct? Yeah, I wouldn't mind directing it. It seems like fun.
For what reason?
Well, it seems a generally entertaining story compared to other short films out there, which, I don't know, which you feel like you've just gone through absolutely nothing. It's like going through a kind of bland concrete tunnel.
What emotions do you think the screenwriter was aiming to trigger?
In a way, I think it was aiming to feel sympathy towards Harley at one point, but also towards Adam before he stabbed her. Like, it's kind of making me feel sorry because she was just, the daughter was wrecking everything.
What emotions do you think the screenwriter was aiming to trigger?
Comedy in a way, but also like quite dark, like a dark comedy.
What part of the script did you feel any of these, if you felt it?
Just the overall script, the overall idea of him murdering someone because the TV's too loud is quite funny, I think.
What emotions do you think the screenwriter was aiming to trigger?
For what, like the audience to feel, or the emotions for the characters?
Audience.
The audience, I think they feel a little bit afraid, obviously, like seeing that, being more aware of this kind of situation, family homes, and obviously any parents out there, like, being, like, obviously, because no one wants that for their child. Yeah.
What emotions do you think the screenwriter was aiming to trigger?
Shock. Because I think the stabbing is somewhat, as I said, it reminds me of horror. So it's much more kind of dark and horrific than we would then say. Scrap that last point. Yeah, horror.
Okay.
Because of the stabbing and the way that such a kind of mundane situation escalates to that extreme, which again I think should be examined much more carefully than just that Chloe's fake me.
Did you feel any of these? Such as, did you feel shocked? Or did you feel any other emotion?
Well, I was quite surprised that she got stabbed 3 times at the end. Well, slit, apparently. I was surprised that the mother didn't do anything, because that implies that both of them are cold hearted psychopaths. I mean, Harley was in the presence of Adam as his daughter, and she just gets pushed back. I think that was quite shocking, and I think you might need to explore that a bit more in depth, Harley's personality, because we don't know much about her. She's just in the story. She's just a love, and not much else, in my opinion. That is.
Okay.
So more characterization.
And finally, what part of the script did you find emotionally engaging?
I think the bit, where is it? When they get interrupted in the meal and she puts her hand over her drink because, like, of the daughter.
And where did you feel most distant from the script?
At first, when it said about how Adam turns his head, like when they were first introduced. But
What part of the script did you find emotionally engaging?
You have to say the end when he ends up murdering her.
And where did you feel most distanced from the script?
At the beginning, because there wasn't much going on. Yeah, it'd probably be different when it's visual, but just on the script there wasn't too much going on, so I felt a bit distant there.
And finally, what part of the script did you find emotionally engaging?
I found it emotionally engaging when Harley's character, when she sits down and like she doesn't want the drink, and she's just trying to stay away from him. She's so scared. It must not be nice for her because obviously that's her child and her husband. She loves both of them, but she's just living in horror. She just doesn't know what to do, and I found it really emotionally engaging for her to think she had to go through all of that. Because where the character Chloe, she's just a rebellious teenager. She just doesn't even care. She doesn't, like, she will know her father's anger and will just push him. Where Harley just don't know what to do.
And very finally, where did you feel most distanced from the script?
So, what do you mean, like the part what I didn't?
And lastly, what part of the script did you find emotionally engaging?
The ending.
Pretty much it says,
Yeah, the ending, because it's the most eventful.
Where did you feel most distanced from the script, and why?
I found the intrigue started with Adams, where you shut that effing racket up and make me, but I felt somewhat, how did she describe it here? I felt most distant when she said make me, because I thought her reaction was quite mundane compared to what was going to happen to her because of it.
Okay.